My name is Daniel Grant, and what I'm about to share with you is something I've kept hidden for almost 2 years. Not because I wanted to, but because I didn't think anyone would believe me. Hell, I don't even believe it happened sometimes, but it did. Every horrible, twisted detail. And it all began the day we moved into the house on Wren Street. Sarah, my wife, was 7 months pregnant when we found it. A quiet, 2-story home tucked away in a sleepy Vermont neighborhood. It looked ordinary, maybe even charming. White paint peeling off the wooden siding, a rusty swing set in the backyard, and an attic window that stared blankly down like a dead eye. We called it our fresh start. The first time I stepped inside, something hit me, like walking into a church that hadn't been prayed in for a century. Cold, still, not lifeless exactly, but watching. Still, we brushed it off. Old houses creak, drafts are normal. We unpacked, painted the nursery a pale blue, and tried to settle into a normal life. But normal didn't last long. The first incident happened exactly 6 days after we moved in. It was around 3 a.m. when I heard footsteps above our bedroom. Slow, deliberate. But we didn't have a second floor, just the attic. I froze. I stared at the ceiling for what felt like an hour, then silence. In the morning, I convinced myself it was just the house settling. Sarah didn't buy it. That same night, she had a nightmare. She said she saw a woman standing in the nursery, back to her, head tilted, arms dangling like broken branches. The woman whispered something, over and over, but Sarah couldn't understand the words. I didn't tell her about the footsteps. No need to panic her, I thought. A few days later, while organizing the baby clothes in the nursery closet, I found a false wall. A thin wooden panel tucked behind a row of old coats left by the previous owner. Behind it, a rope. I pulled it. A wooden ladder dropped down, revealing the attic. We climbed up together. The air changed the moment our heads crossed the threshold. It was like stepping into a freezer, one filled with rot. The attic was enormous, far bigger than the house seemed to allow. Old furniture, shattered mirrors, a cracked baby crib. But what caught our eyes was a wooden rocking chair in the center of the room, and the large, dark stain beneath it. Neither of us said anything. We climbed down. We didn't go back up. That night, I unplugged the baby monitor after it began to hiss and crackle, even when turned off. Later, when I woke up again at 3:04 a.m., Sarah was sitting upright in bed, eyes wide, staring at the blank monitor screen. "She's rocking," she whispered. I didn't ask who. I didn't want to know. In the days that followed, Sarah started acting strange, distant. She wouldn't leave the house. She said it didn't want her to. I asked what it was. She just shook her head and hummed, an eerie, tuneless melody I'd never heard before. When I questioned her about it, she said, "I don't know. It's like I've always known it." One evening, I came home from the store and found her in the attic, sitting in the rocking chair, smiling at nothing. I yelled her name 3 times before she looked at me. "I was with her," she said. "She's lonely." That night, I started researching the house. What I found still haunts me. The house had belonged to a man named Dr. Theodore Wren, built in 1897. He was a physician, respected but eccentric. Rumors said he believed he could cleanse unborn souls through isolation, fear, and pain. Pregnant women would come to him for treatment. None were seen again. There were no records of births, no graves. Just a single newspaper clipping, yellowed and torn, mentioning the mysterious disappearance of 8 women and a formal investigation into Ren that went nowhere. The house had remained empty for decades. The next night, the attic door opened by itself. We were in the living room when we heard the creak. The ladder dropped down slowly, too slowly. Sarah didn't flinch. "She wants to meet her daughter," she said. "She's been waiting." I wanted to leave, to run. But Sarah refused, said the baby was safe here, that she was watching over us. That's when I knew I had to act. I went into the attic alone, at night. I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe to prove something to myself. Maybe to prove Sarah wrong. The attic looked the same, except this time, the rocking chair wasn't empty. A woman sat there. Her face was hidden beneath long black hair. Her limbs were thin and cracked, like dry wood. Her dress was soaked red at the hem, and she was rocking, slowly, back and forth. I couldn't move. She stopped, lifted her head. Her eyes weren't eyes, just hollow sockets oozing black. Her mouth opened, but no sound came. And then she screamed, not with her voice, with mine. I collapsed, crawled down the ladder, slammed the door shut. I didn't sleep that night. 2 weeks later, Sarah went into labor. It happened fast, too fast. There was no time to reach the hospital. The power went out. The house trembled. She screamed, words I didn't understand. Her voice echoed, deeper than human. And when the baby came out, she didn't cry. She laughed, a deep, adult laugh that rattled the windows. That was the last time I saw Sarah. She looked at me one last time and said, "She's home now." Then she was gone, vanished, no blood, no body, just silence. And the baby. She looked normal, at first, but she never cried, never blinked. She would stare at the attic ceiling for hours. Sometimes I heard that same humming Sarah used to do, but the baby's mouth never moved. I named her Evelyn. I don't know why, it just felt right. We moved away, far away. I tried to rebuild my life, tried to forget, but Evelyn won't let me. She talks now, fluent, clear. At night, she whispers things in my ear. "She's still here, Daddy. She says you're next." Last week, I heard the attic ladder drop. Again. We don't live in that house anymore. I checked. There's no attic here. Last night, she looked up from her toys, tilted her head, and said in Sarah's voice, "She's almost done waiting."